your red-pilled brown girl coming at you. Y'all, I woke up this morning to the best news. We have the best president in the world. We have a hood president. Some people are running their street game and their street blocks better than people have ran the most powerful, most important nation in the entire world. So to wake up and hear that our President Trump is fighting for us, okay? Y'all, you ain't got to understand it. But you better sure put some respect on the game. I am sitting here waiting to hear the president's address. We'll watch it together, y'all. We'll have some, real live coverage, some of my thoughts, my initial thoughts. Um, I I just know that I woke up just proud to be an American, y'all. I ain't got no makeup on. I'm just chilling. I'm sorry. But, it's Saturday morning. I typically don't go live Saturday morning, but I had to jump on here because I definitely want to know what you guys think. I want to see, like, we'll watch this together and see what's going on. A lot of people are saying it's for the oil. I don't think that it's for the oil. We have way more oil than Venezuela. It's for the control over their oil. We can't be the most powerful nation. We cannot be the most influential in the world if we're letting this country, Venezuela, just do whatever they want to in our hemisphere, y'all. This is the straight up hood game. Anybody who understood the block back home, anybody that understand, this is exactly what this is. Hey, how you doing, pretty Liddy? We gonna watch it together, girlfriend. Hang in there with me. You guys, if you have not already, please like, share, subscribe. Please, you guys, it helps my channel support me by liking and sharing and subscribing to this broadcast, y'all. So yeah, so the whole thing, a lot of people who don't know politics, and mind you, I don't claim to be the most influential person or the most knowledgeable person about politics. But I hang around a lot of people who know it. Follow Vincent Ever Ellison. He is amazing. I listen to a lot of Victor Davis Hanson, and I hear a lot of these historical stories about Venezuela and what they have done for the past few years. And they have done nothing but poison the American people, wreak havoc on the American people, and work with our allies. I mean, work with our adversaries, so China and Russia. And so when you call yourself the most powerful nation and you allow this to happen right in your backyard, like I'm telling you, I know gang members that wouldn't allow this to happen on their block, the next block. Thank you, pretty Liddy. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much, honey. Yeah, I know gang members that won't let this happen on their block. And we, the most powerful nation, are allowing Venezuela to basically run oil, run drugs up and down our waters like we have no control. And most people will tell you that President Trump has warned them several times. President Trump has given them more than enough opportunity to make peace, to come on the right side of things, and they haven't done it. And so President Trump, being from New York, y'all know he's from New York. Like, it ain't but so much of that you're going to keep trying with President Trump. There's just not, I mean, like, he's very generous. He'll try to work with you. He'll try to make a deal, but ain't but so much you're going to get away with trying to make him look like no punk. And so I woke up this morning blessed. I woke up happy to know that we have a president that's actually going to do exactly what he says he's going to do. And he warned President Maduro. He warned him. He warned President Maduro. And bro, we going to take your girl too. We going to take your chick, and y'all going to come over here, and y'all are going to face the American people. You're going to face our wrath, and I'm here for it, y'all. So I really want us to watch it together. Please hang in there, y'all. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe this broadcast. I typically do not go live. As I mentioned, I don't go live on Saturdays. I go live on Sundays. But I'm telling you, when I got this news and it broke, y'all, I just had to. I had to go live. I want to watch it with you guys. So please like, share, subscribe to this channel. I want to see what our president is saying. I think he'll just explain what he already explained. He has tried very hard to work with the Venezuelan administration, but there is not much. So you can't work with people who are determined to poison your constituents, who are determined to work with your adversaries. And you could say it's about oil. It's not. Oil, all oil is a resource, y'all. It is not about oil. It is about the person who controls the resources controls the game, okay? So some of our little minds think that President Trump cares. Some of these little minded blacks, I love the blacks, that oh, this is about oil. That's what y'all said about Iraq. And maybe it was, but no, it's about the person who controls the resources controls the game. And we can't let Venezuela be in this little tiny country in comparison to what we are, run drugs up and down our seas when we said not to. Okay? So what y'all don't want to come to the conclusion is that they've been doing this for a long time, and your administration, your president Barack Hussein Obama has been allowing it, and y'all love him so much that y'all won't even call him out. This is not something that just started with President Trump. Our administrations previously have betrayed its constituents, have betrayed the American people, and we don't want to admit it. President Trump, they're trying to make what President Trump is doing look like chaos. They're trying to make it look like, oh my God, what is he doing? He's causing all these wars. No, it's not a war. It's not a war. It's a spanking. It's a spanking. It's a correction. It's a punishment for bad behavior. So y'all can try all the fear tactics and the fear mongering and the, oh my God, President Trump is going to bring us into war. I'm telling you, Venezuela does not want this smoke, okay? What has happened in the past is Barack Hussein Obama, who y'all love so much because, you know, he has all the swag. You know, the blacks, they love the swag. You can talk a little slang. You have a little limp in your walk, and then you get their allegiance. The blacks are so enamored by a person's skin color. They've been doing this and poisoning people underneath President Barack Hussein Obama's term. And what these people, the Venezuela is not used to is a president like President Trump that said, I said, stop it. I know what you're doing. They've known, but now that I know, y'all better stop. And they didn't do it. And they effed around and they found out. So y'all can try and be all emotional all you want to. Oh my God, what is going on? You know exactly what's going on. You've watched Power. You've watched all that foolishness that y'all like to watch. You've watched The Wire. You've watched how the drug game go. Okay? So it's not about oil. We don't need their little bit of oil. If we wanted it, we would take it like we did. We would just take over their whole country and have everybody speaking English. We don't want to do that. We want them to follow the freaking rules. That's what we want from Venezuela. Okay. And what has happened previously is that they haven't been following the rules and everybody just kind of looked away. Venezuela's not following the rules. All these other countries not following the rules, and you just look away. Gaza is not following the rules. Nigeria not following the rules. And everybody, all your presidents before Barack Hussein Obama, they just look away. They just look away. Oh, it's okay. It's all right. You don't have to follow the rules. Not with President Trump. And so if anybody, any other day than today doesn't feel pride in being an American and knowing that you have a president that is willing to cause chaos, who is willing to go against the grain, who is willing to fight on the half of his people, willing to take a bullet on the half of his people, then I feel so sad for you. So we're going to watch it. I'm so excited. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to this channel. I typically do not go live on Saturdays, but I had to go live today. Let's watch it together because I am so proud to be an American, y'all. I'm telling you, like, please, if you haven't, like, share, subscribe to this channel. Y'all make sure that you put in the comment, proud to be an American, American proud. Put in the comment, F around and find out. Put whatever you are feeling on this good morning. We are going to listen to our president in chief. Um, and y'all, I'm just super stoked. Like I really am super stoked. So I was watching someone talk about uh the like how it happened and how we ended up taking out Maduro, taking Maduro. First of all, we ended up taking him, but and his wife. We take you and your chick. Ugh. But we also did like we took out their like ability to fight back. Like they couldn't even fight back, y'all, even if they tried. So everybody who's saying, "Oh, we're going to war with Venezuela." Venezuela does not want this smoke, y'all. Venezuela does not want this smoke. I cannot tell y'all. They don't want this smoke. So there will be no war, nothing to see here. Russia ain't coming to Venezuela's defense. Russia don't want it. Sorry, Venezuela, you were used by China and Russia. And no, it's not because we wanted their oil, y'all. Can we stop saying that? We don't need oil from Venezuela. If we wanted oil from Venezuela, we would just take it because we run stuff over here. We run stuff in this hemisphere. But like I said in the past, like right, pretty litty light, right? Oh, Dave P, you said also check out Bill Federer. I will. In the past, what we have allowed people to do is we say that we're the world's superpower. We say that we have all the military might and capability. We say that nobody can mess with the United States. And they've been messing with us this entire time. And so talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. And if they haven't found out, they found out today. We getting ready to hear from our president, you guys. Like I said, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Proud retired combat veteran, thank you so much for your service, Dave P. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for the people who sacrifice. I told my son is 16, and I'm like, hey, you better get ready to go serve. And he's like, Mom, I'm not going to war. And I was like, yes, you will, to defend your country. And mind you, I love my son, but I am not raising these soy boys like y'all. I'm sorry. My sons will fight. My sons will defend what they have. They will take care of their families. So if you bringing your little daughters around here, y'all, if y'all bringing y'all little daughters, just know what they messing with. My son don't play that. So anyway, we're sitting here, we're waiting for President Trump. Can't wait to see him address the American people. I am just, when I say I'm grateful, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that we have a president that you can't mess with. And it makes you think about like people like President Barack Hussein Obama, and what he allowed to happen, how he allowed all the businesses to go overseas, allowed China to take over all of our industry, allowed China to make all of our medicines. And y'all can say that it's not him, but let me tell you something. I take this personally because he was my president in my lifetime, in my voting time, right? So I look at him as like he could have done something about it, and yet and still he chose not to. And everybody's like, oh, he's the first Black president. Like at this point, y'all, we're all American. I don't care if you're black, green, blue, purple. I really don't. I care that you speak English. I care that your mama speaks English and your daddy. I care that you have our best interest at heart. I do. And unfortunately, what we're finding is these Barack Hussein's Obamas, they just don't. These people with immigrant parents, they just don't. And it's sad that our country had to get to this point, but I'm so glad that God spared President Trump's life. and allowed him to see a second term, because a lot of these things he discovered in his second term, I mean in his first term, but he had to play, he had to figure things out. He had to play chess. And unfortunately, um he got the election stolen. Like, they stole, well, the American people, we allowed people to interfere and steal the election. And God, I don't know why God allows things to happen, but um under President Biden, we saw how bad things can really get, y'all. We saw how bad inflation can get. We saw how much people really hate us and hate our country. Um, and President Trump woke us all up to it, woke us up to the Somalian fraud, woke us up to how evil a lot of these people are. And honestly, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that President Trump is from New York. When you're from New York, you get exposed to a lot of these people and these cultures. If you're just now tuning in, you guys, please like, share, subscribe, comment, subscribe to my channel, share it. Y'all, this is the way that you support me. I typically do not go live on Saturdays, but I wanted to do a quick pop-up show so we can watch President Trump's address together and see what thus say our president. But yes. So what did you say? We said, gotta share this. I first noticed you with those bitter ladies. And I watched you for a while, wondering where you were. Then I caught you here. Been here. Oh, thank you so much, Dave. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so grateful that you came over here. But yes. Yes, to all of what you said. I'm just trying to be respectful. He said the bitter ladies from Baltimore. Y'all. Can I plead the fifth? Is it okay if I plead the fifth on Poppin' Politics? If you're still watching right now, Poppin' Politics, and I'll say the name, the algorithms must be working for them. I mean, it's got to be the algorithms, because I mean, adding value is just something that they're just not able to do. But hey, whatever. I love Shelly. Shout out to Shelly. Shout out to T. Amazing. But y'all already know, if you haven't already seen how I feel about Poppin' Politics, go back and watch my video that I did on blacks in business. Y'all do not do business with blacks. I am telling you. Anybody that has my skin color and claims to be black. So, y'all, I have my skin color, but I don't claim to be black. I had to get rid of the blackness. If they have my skin color and they claim to be black, y'all, do not do business with them. I have a whole video about that, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, but yes, Dave. Hold on. Ah, Dave, I love you. Thank you. You made my day. Well, President Trump's attacks on Venezuela. So, y'all, if you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. The beef more version of the view. Just a lot less educated and pretty. Ooh, I'm I'm not going to repeat that. I am not going to repeat that, Dave. Okay, you guys. Y'all, we are getting ready to watch our president talk about this Venezuelan bombing, y'all. And so if you hear if you've heard, oh, shout out to AI. Hold on. Let me put in it let me make sure I get it. AI, ooh, what is it? Hold on, guys. I'm gonna get it for you. But they kind of explain how the attacks happen. And y'all, anybody who say we're going to war with Venezuela, they don't want this work. Venezuela don't want this work. Y'all, there will be no war. There were not quar. That's what shout out to Steven Crowder. He kept posting Maduro say, not quar, not quar, not war. We want peace, not quar. So AI Telly, so AITELLY, on YouTube actually did a video of how this happened. It ain't no yeah, y'all, it ain't no war. It's no war. It was a spanking, okay? It was a correction. It was a corrective action. We spanked Venezuela, okay? For acting crazy, okay? For thinking that they can come in our town, our side of town, and do what they want to do. Anybody who has watched The Wire, anybody who has watched Power, you know that this is not about oil. The American people do not need oil from Venezuela. If we wanted oil from Venezuela, we would just take it like we did with the ships. We would just take it. We just take it. It's about power and control, something that American people have just kind of willed over to the immigrants. So we don't understand how this works. So we need to let the adults do this. Okay. Can we just let the adults do this? Okay. Can we do that? Because the American people, y'all are too Christian. Y'all are too nice. Y'all are too, oh my gosh, why are we doing this? They are selling poison to President Trump's constituents. The question that we need to be asking is why other presidents have not done this? Why did it get so bad that President Trump had to do this? That's the question that we need to be asking. We need to be asking, why did it get so bad that President Trump had to do this? That's what we need to be asking. Instead of asking, why did President Trump did this? Oh my gosh, I can't believe President Trump did this. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Because y'all are so small-minded. Y'all think that this has something to do with oil. Oh, we want to steal the oil. No. We don't need to steal oil from Venezuela. We don't need to steal oil. Sorry, y'all. I'm putting up my TikTok. I'm gonna go live on TikTok. Yeah, we don't need to steal oil. We own own the seas. Okay, y'all haven't seen Gulf of America. Gulf of America. You haven't seen Gulf of America? So we own all the seas. We don't need to steal from them at all. What we do need to do is we have to control. And they came over here in our borders, stealing from the American people. They came over here. They came over here stealing from the American people. They came over here poisoning the American people. They came over here wreaking havoc on our borders, working with our enemies. They came over here working with um, the Russia, working with our people that our adversaries, and we had to show them, y'all. This is a classic F around and find out. This is this is not confusing for me. Y'all watch all of these shows, y'all watch all of these movies where you see they try to challenge the power structure. Helena J, you're not late, sweetheart. Thank you so much for thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. If you haven't already, which Helena J, I know you are. I typically do not go live on Saturdays, but y'all, I had to go live to cover so we can watch President Trump do this today. Y'all, you're gonna get some live footage from me. You're gonna get my live reactions. Y'all, I haven't seen it. We're gonna watch it together. Definitely want to see what our President Trump, what our president is saying about this. Y'all, if you are watching me on TikTok, please go follow me on YouTube. Y'all, please like, share, subscribe. I really could use the support. I really, really need the support. Y'all, I ain't put on no makeup or nothing. I'm just like out here. I did a little curl in my hair, but I wanted to go live so bad. Oh God, Helena, thank you. You said I said April is my y'all. You remember she said, sometimes I feel like somebody's your day one, even though they're not your day one. I've been watching April for a really long time. And to just know that I have access to her and have gotten a friendship with her, y'all, is just so it's so precious. It really is something that I cherish because y'all, when y'all see her in her videos, that's how she is like normally. Like she is there's nothing fake, nothing phony about her. She is the real deal, a true conservative. Can we talk about that law, y'all? And she talked about the EBT Republicans, but I would say um, like the EBT Republicans, I love that, but it's really black people, in my opinion, Helena. Black people are not conservative. They're just not. There's nothing conservative about their history and they say oh well black people are normally conservative. No, black people are dishonest. So black people are the type of person, the type of people that'll say they're conservative because they say that they don't like gays, but they forget that most of the black people, most of the gays in this world, or most of the gays in the US are all black. They're black, but they'll say, "Oh, well, black people not with the gay life." Yes, they are. Black women hang around gay guys all the time. Black people are raising gay sons. They don't correct their sons. And mind you, I have no issue with black people. I mean, with gay people, I have no issue with them. Hey, if you like what you like, it's between you and God. What I am saying is black people will say, "Oh, we're conservative," because they say that they disagree with the homosexual lifestyle, which is just not true. They are the main ones that promote the homosexual lifestyle and the transgenderedness and the gayness. They also promote women in leadership. The black female is the head of the household. Now, mind you, the black female has not done well at all, but they continue to promote the black female. And mind you, conservatism oh, okay, good concrete, yes. um okay, so I'm starting to make sense. Okay, good. Yeah, what I was trying to say is that people say black people are historically conservative. They're not. They're just not. There's nothing conservative about black culture. Black culture spends way more than they have. They borrow way more than they can afford. Their credit is messed up. Black people they don't conserve their bodies. There's nothing conservative. They don't eat well. Um, Give me a sec. They don't eat well. They don't really exercise. And I'm talking about black people as a whole, like as a culture. I know that there are some people that do, right? But there's nothing conservative about black culture. But then they'll say, oh, well, you know, black people are conservative. And then so what happens is they get these EBT Republicans. So these people that claim to be Republican come over to the Republican side and they sound just like the blacks that are on the left. What is the Republican Party doing for us? That's what they'll say. Now, mind you, the conservative way is not ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. They'll also say things like, oh, Trump is the first true black president because he got 3 baby mamas and has been to jail before and's been shot at. Well, first of all, that's not conservative. Second of all, President Trump didn't go out to live that kind of life. They won't say that he actually married the people that have his baby, that he was actually shot by governmental operation, that he was falsely accused of what they accused him for. They accused him of overthrowing an election, did not do that. They accused him on January 6th, did not do that. So black people, unfortunately, they agree with everything that's not conservative, everything that's bad. And then they'll say, oh, well, black people are conservative. They're not. And so I say that to say I was talking about April is truly a conservative, okay? April does not look for anybody or the Republican Party to do anything for her. April is not asking to be on anybody's show. April built her business from the ground up, organically got over 100,000 followers, giving value, providing value to the marketplace. She's not asking to be hooked up or like Angela Stanton King, nobody gave money to Aunt Angie's house. It doesn't work like that. That's not a conservative value. It's a hand me out, a handout. It's not. So that's why I love April so much. Thank you so much for your super chat, Dave. Thank you. Said keep sharing the truth. I'm trying. Let me tell you, I am trying so hard. Thank you, Dave. God, that means so much to me. It means so much to me. Yeah, Pretty Liddy said, and you're both Christians from NY. Yeah, let's go. Like, there's something to be said about NY people in general, but Christians from NY. President Trump, oh my God, is from New York, y'all. There's an exterior that you're built with when you're from New York. It's a different kind of swag. It's a toughness and a realness that you get from constantly somebody trying to kill you. Somebody trying to kill you. It's the truth. Like every day when you're in New York, you live a life where somebody is trying to take something from you. Y'all, let me tell a story. I was walking down the street when I was in third grade, I think. So how old are you in third grade? You're like 8. I was in third grade and I had went to the store to get some penny candy. I went to the store to get some penny candy, and I'm walking down the street, and this guy, mind you, a little kid. I'm saying guy because that's how it felt to me. This guy, he's a little bigger than me. Maybe he was 10, and he walks up to me and he was like, "What are you eating?" And I was like, "Candy." And he was like, Give me some." And I was like, "No, it's my candy." Mind you, I didn't know this person, right? So I'm like, "No, I'm not giving you none of my candy." Y'all, when I tell you that this kid, this thug, he's probably in prison right now. Mind you, how many years ago? This is like 30 years ago. He's probably in prison now. He took the candy out of my hand, y'all. He walked up to me and he snatched it. He said, and took it. And I was like, "Give me my candy." He wouldn't give it back to me. And he was like, "I'm not giving you nothing. I asked you for a piece of your candy, and now I'm gonna take all of it." And I was like, and hear me, mind you, because I'm raised in New York and New Yorker communists. I was like, dang, I should have gave him a piece. So I'm trying to negotiate with him. I'm like, okay, give me my candy back, and then I'll give you a piece of candy. He was like, no, now I'm taking it all. I'm taking it all. So me, I'm following him trying to get my candy back. Mind you, he's faster than me, but he's not that fast that I can't see where he's going. So I try to follow him home, y'all. Y'all, I try to follow him home. And I was like, "I'm gonna tell your mom." Y'all, true story, y'all. He punches me in my face. I'm 8 years old. I'm 8 years old. I'm 8 years old. He punches me in my face. And I just start crying. Mind you, this is a guy. Y'all, this is how you live in New York City. I'm telling you, this is a verifiably true story. I remember going back and telling all my friends at the time where it happened, y'all. I'm not making this up. I wish I was making it up. So I say that when you grow up in New York at 8 years old, where somebody literally walks up to you and snatches stuff out of your hand, then you learn to get a little bit of tough skin. Hold on. He said, "Hey, my family is from Brooklyn and Long Island." And it is. Helena, it is. It is. When is your birthday, if you don't mind saying? I don't mind. I'm a September birthday, so I was born September 5th. So if you're doing horoscopes, I don't really do horoscopes like I don't really believe in them, but I think that they're fun to do. I'm a Virgo. I'm a Virgo. I think horoscopes are fun. You said it's the charisma. Yeah, it's the charisma. Like it's the charisma. I don't know what it is, y'all. Let me tell you. When you grow up, so I understand President Trump, and I want people to just kind of sit back and enjoy the President Trump that you're getting because y'all, the American people, your children, you will be better off for it. President Trump is not going to allow people to just sit there and just take our candy. He's just not. He's not going to let them go up and down our streets while you talking to Russia and China and trying to negotiate with them behind the back. He gave President Maduro good enough notice. He gave them more than enough shot. And like I said before, y'all, if you are just now watching, please watch, subscribe to this channel, y'all. Please support me. I just really would appreciate it. What I was saying before earlier is that you should not be upset with President Trump. You should be upset with all the other presidents that have allowed this to happen and let it get this bad. You should be upset with Barack Hussein Obama, who allowed all of this stuff to happen. And I say Barack Hussein Obama, but it's really been happening since before them, the Clintons. Y'all should be upset that President Trump had to be the one to wake us up and show us, oh my God, your children will not have an inheritance. Your children will not have a country. So we can be all upset and emotional about it. Even New Yorkers who don't like, yes, even New Yorkers who don't like President Trump, they still understand his New York swag and they do, y'all. And anybody who has watched the show Power, who's watched any kind of show, The Mafia, has watched anybody, like, we would be some punks if we let Venezuela just continue to sell drugs in our seas, um, work with Russia, work with China. We would be some punks. And I'm telling you, us claiming to be the world's greatest superpower would be for naught. Like, it's a waste of time. It's like tall people that are punks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you big and tall for no reason. Like, you big and tall for no reason. You said, also, they need to start arresting everyone blowing whistles and interfering with ICE operations and charged with felonies. So, yes, no. I think that that's happening, y'all. It's so here's what Americans don't or some people that don't understand. These things are the hardest for him to do, right? So what he's doing right now with Venezuela, he has to do because it's the hardest for him to do. Us getting those Somalians out of our country and getting our money back is so easy. It's so easy. Somalia don't want this work, y'all. They don't. I'm sorry. They don't want. Let me boss up a little bit. Somalia don't want this work. So the Somalians stealing daycare funds, Somalians stealing from the American people. He's going to get that money back. Trust and believe, y'all. Trust and believe. I'm not even worried about it. I'm not even worried about it. He's going to he can handle Nigeria. He can handle Somalia. He can handle what's inside his borders. So like the people who are stealing our money, he's going to get that money back and he's not even worried about that, y'all, because this is the hardest thing. This stuff right here, getting them. Oh, y'all, he's getting ready to start. This is the hard stuff. So, y'all, let's listen. Y'all.
We appreciate you being here. Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones, like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer. All perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea, just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far. With capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela, and that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping. and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans. Hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to, ultimately, New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. Mm-hmm. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over in particular the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide. And he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they called police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat. But we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, 2 a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're going, they're walking their daughters, they're walking their children, their wives, they walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard, I want to thank our military, and I want to thank law enforcement. It's been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down We've just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana, and we have done that. And it was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there. When they need us, we'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. Yeah. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Tren de Aragua. And they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people, and now Maduro will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really one of the worst. One of the worst, they say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungari, what happened to her? They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. There was a bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States to steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound similar. Actually, prisons a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions. They sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers. They were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States, but no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and stole American oil, American assets, and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars. They did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Wow. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, so we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it.
Wow.
America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries, and not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Donroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen. So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core to our national security. Just like tariffs are, they've made our country rich, and they've made our national security strong, stronger than ever before. But these are the iron laws that have always determined global power, and we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders. We will stop the terrorists. We will crash the cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic. Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America, but I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just, fair, even to their people. The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone, and Venezuela people are free. They're free again. It's been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safer nation this morning. It's a prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank General Raisin Kane. He's a fantastic man. I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice. And I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Y'all, I love him. I love this man.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects.
Yes.
And the American people deserve.
Yes.
And as the president said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve, the most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around and he found out.
Period!
President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country. Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious about getting back the oil that was stolen from us. And deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is America first. This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026. And under President Trump, America is back. I'd like to welcome now our Chairman Raisin Kane, to give a few more details about the operation. Mr. Chairman.
Period! Y'all,
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. This operation, known as Operation Absolute Resolve, was discreet, precise, and conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that, frankly, only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again. Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners and law enforcement teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence capabilities and our years of experience in hunting terrorists, and we could not have done this mission without the incredible work by various intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions over these last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost of precision and integration within our joint force. And the word integration does not explain the sheer complexity of such a mission. An extraction so precise it involved more than 150 aircraft launching across the Western Hemisphere in close coordination, all coming together in time and place to layer effects for a single purpose: to get an interdiction force
into downtown Caracas while maintaining the element of tactical surprise. Failure of one component of this well-oiled machine would have endangered the entire mission, and failure is never an option for America's joint force. Those in the air over Caracas last night were willing to give their lives for those on the ground and in the helicopters. Let me talk a little bit about the preparation. After months of work by our intelligence teammates to find Maduro and understand how he moved, where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets, in early December, our force was set pending a series of aligned events. Key was choosing the right day to minimize the potential for civilian harm and maximize the element of surprise and minimize the harm to the indicted personnel so, as the president said, they could be brought to justice. And as the president said earlier today, weather in Venezuela is always a factor this time of the year. And over the weeks through Christmas and New Year's, the men and women of the United States military sat ready, patiently waiting for the right triggers to be met and the president to order us into action. Last night, the weather broke just enough, clearing a path that only the most skilled aviators in the world could maneuver through. Ocean, mountain, low cloud ceilings. But when tasked with a mission, this organization does not quit. At 10:46 p.m. Eastern Time last night, the president ordered the United States military to move forward with this mission. He said to us, and we appreciate it, Mr. President, good luck and Godspeed. And those words were transmitted to the entire joint force. Over the course of the night, aircraft began launching from 20 different bases on land and sea across the Western Hemisphere. In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night. Thousands and thousands of hours of experience were airborne. Our youngest crew member was 20, and our oldest crew member was 49.
Wow.
And there's simply no match for American military might. As the night began, the helicopters took off with the extraction force, which included law enforcement officers, and began their flight into Venezuela at 100 feet above the water. As they approached Venezuelan shores, the United States began layering different effects provided by Spacecom, Cybercom, and other members of the interagency to create a pathway. Overhead, those forces were protected by aircraft from the United States Marines, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and the Air National Guard. The force included F-22s, F-35s, F-18s, EA-18s, E-2s, B-1 bombers, and other support aircraft, as well as numerous remotely piloted drones. As the force began to approach Caracas, the Joint Air Component began dismantling and disabling the air defense systems in Venezuela, employing weapons to ensure the safe passage of the helicopters into the target area. The goal of our air component is, was, and always will be to protect the helicopters and the ground force and get them to the target and get them home. As the force crossed the last point of high terrain where they'd been hiding in the clutter, we assessed that we had maintained totally the element of surprise. As the helicopter force ingressed towards the objective at low level, we arrived at Maduro's compound at 1:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 2:01 a.m. Caracas local time, and the apprehension force descended into Maduro's compound and moved with speed, precision, and discipline towards their objective and isolated the area to ensure the safety and security of the ground force while apprehending the indicted persons. On arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force in self-defense. One of our aircraft was hit but remained flyable, and as the president said earlier today, all of our aircraft came home, and that aircraft remained flyable during the rest of the mission. As the operation unfolded at the compound, our air and ground intelligence teams provided real-time updates to the ground force, ensuring those forces could safely navigate the complex environment without unnecessary risk. The force remained protected by overhead tactical aviation. Maduro and his wife, both indicted, gave up and were taken into custody by the Department of Justice, assisted by our incredible U.S. military with professionalism and precision, with no loss of U.S. life. After securing the indicted persons, the force began to prep for departure. Helicopters were called in to exfiltrate the extraction force, while fighter aircraft and remotely piloted aircraft provided overhead coverage and suppressive fire. There were multiple self-defense engagements as the force began to withdraw out of Venezuela. The force successfully exfiltrated and returned to their afloat launch bases, and the force was over the water at 3:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with indicted persons on board, and both Maduro and his wife were embarked aboard the USS Iwo Jima. In closing, what we've witnessed today is a powerful demonstration of America's joint force. We think, we develop, we train, we rehearse, we debrief, we rehearse again and again, not to get it right, but to ensure that we cannot get it wrong. Our jobs are to integrate combat power so when the order comes, we can deliver overwhelming force at the time and the place of our choosing against any foe anywhere in the world. I am immensely proud today of our joint force and filled with gratitude to represent them here today. There is simply no mission too difficult for these incredible professionals and the families that stand by them and support them. As we stand here this morning, our forces remain in the region at a high state of readiness, prepared to project power, defend themselves, and our interests in the region. This operation is a testament to the dedication and unwavering commitment to justice and our resolve to hold accountable those who threaten peace and stability. In closing, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the brave men and women who executed this mission. Their courage and tireless commitment to our nation are what makes us strong. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Mr. President.
Wow. Wow.
Well, I don't have much to add
Wow.
right now other than the following points. Nicolas Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
Make sure.
yeah, exactly. But
Don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it.
Yes.
He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States. And the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Is that a message for Cuba, Mr. President?
Y'all, when I tell you I love this man, I love him so much.
Please. Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
Yeah. They're actually in Trinidad, my family.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, they always say boots on the ground. So we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot.
Yeah, but we didn't.
We're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of.
Good.
We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. They stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it. So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official
Yes.
to coordinate?
It's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
Would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be for a period of time the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead, I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're a country doing better than any country anywhere in the world. And required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at, and others, we have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
Rubio would be.
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
going? I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Mr. President, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is about that. Well,
he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President, did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved in it.
Sure. We called members of Congress immediately after. This was not the kind of mission that you can do congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days. But it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
Absolutely.
Plus, if I
Those
could add
traitors
one thing
in
to
Congress.
that, Congress has a tendency to leak. This
Yes.
would not be good. If they leaked,
Yes.
General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point, you know. We had a lot of ships out there. They sort of knew we were coming. We went there. But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakers.
Yeah, traitors. That's what I was thinking.
People to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know what a safe place is, all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. You know, people were wondering, do we get it by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today. But he was trying to get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say on average, regardless of how thick the steel was. It was a very thick door. It was a very heavy door, but he was unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it. Go ahead, finish.
To be in the time being right now. Do you know his exact
Well,
whereabouts?
eventually, ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
Mr. President.
Why are they asking me these
The US
questions?
has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards.
Not with
Did
me.
that weigh on your decision?
Well, that's when we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me, we've had a perfect track record of winning. We win a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer was incredible. Right now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because of that. If we weren't successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So, with me, you've had a lot of victory. You've had only victories. You've had no losses. Yeah.
How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want Venezuelan people to hold elections?
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. You know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow-up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground. It can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country. Yeah.
Are you saying that Secretary Rubio and
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil
China
and drugs?
and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to give it to them. In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Are you saying, Mr. President, are you saying that, Mr. President, are you saying that,
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of Venezuela?
That you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace and you're going to have safety. You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country, and they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, the 2024 election, we suffered so badly when you look at the border from 2020. What they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms. I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would have happened.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military troops to provide?
They're going to be a team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world go in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also, I can't stress this strongly enough, the people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay and some probably want to go back,
in the country, and were any of the detained Americans?
Well, right now they're very protected because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
Are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them, and they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago. Okay, wait.
I bet they are.
President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please, go ahead.
Is there a message here for Cuba and Diaz-Canel?
Well, Cuba is an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation. And we want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. So suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all of the guards that helped protect Maduro. This is well known. Their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, they basically, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems the Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
Cutting off the oil flow to Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned, it's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's a pre-existing.
The answer is yes. Yes. No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President.
Mr.
President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect within
Mr. President, is it possible that the U.S. ends up administrating Venezuela for years?
Well, it won't cost us anything because the money coming out of the ground is very substantial, so it's not going to cost us anything. We will. Well, we want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That's what that was
Yeah.
happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be a very important. It's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look. It was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year is going to be a great thing. And the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
U.S. military.
Mr. President, thank you. What did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is the
Well,
US
I don't want to
at
get
war
into
with
the
Venezuela?
conversations, but I did have conversations with him, and I said, you got to surrender. And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
You said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras who was convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are
Well,
different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
Exactly. So, like, everybody keeps talking about the 19 felonies of President Trump, but I mean, they're not real felonies, and I believe that they've been doing this all throughout history, y'all. I think we just didn't know how evil these people were, and I said it all the time, and I'll say it again. We are not upset enough at the people who continue to allow Venezuela to do this. We're not upset enough at Barack Hussein Obama, Bill Clinton. I said on the show that I was on before, I was like, we can't be mad at Russia and China for wanting to overtake the largest superpower. We can't be mad at them. What we have to be mad at is that we put people in leadership. We pay them. We give them very good benefits. We give them very, very good life. And they have betrayed us. That's who we have to get mad at. And President Trump is only doing what everybody else should have done. No one should have been allowed to poison us. Nobody should have been allowed to take over our seas and our airways. No one should be allowed to host our enemies on our side. And then we go around beating our chest, calling ourselves the number one superpower. That's stupid. And what President Trump is not stupid. And another thing that I wanted to say is when Raising Cane said, he said, we as the military operations, we think, we develop, we train, we rehearse, and then we train again. Y'all, all those people that were fired by the CIA and the FBI that were fired, best believe that they probably leaked some of the trainings that were going on. He said that we train and then we rehearse and then we do it over again. I would not be surprised if they hadn't shared something with them just to see if they would leak it. And then when they leaked it, they got fired. Y'all do not understand smart people. And my president is smart. He's lived in a den of snakes in New York City, real estate in New York City business. It, like Marco said, it's not going to work with this administration. So everybody just needs to get on board, play ball, play fair, let us all make money, and let us all be productive and prosperous. If you guys are going to want to live. I don't know what else to say.
They come from two places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal. Life is a big deal. But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that people are being killed in Kiev, people are being killed in other cities throughout, a much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making progress, but that's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, it would have never happened. Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was Joe Biden, Zelensky, and Putin. I came into the situation, and it's a mess. And I will say this. I watched an operation last night that was so precise, that was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible. If we had our people, like this general and our people involved, that war would not have gone on very long, that I can tell you. That war, to use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath, and we want it to get stopped. Thank you very much, everybody.
I love my president, y'all. Y'all, this was such a good press conference. I'm so thankful that he went on and he actually shared what happened. My favorite part of that is General Raising Cane, like I just said, is that he said we we think, we develop, we train, we rehearse, and we rehearse again, we train and we execute. Y'all, so all of these people that are like selling out the American people and going and telling and leaks, they're finding that as they rehearse. Like, so they'll tell you something. Y'all know how this go, right? In the drug game. It's like I tell, oh yeah, I'm gonna be on block number 3. Now, mind you, it's a fake mission, but I told you like it's a real mission because I'm trying to get all the snakes out. Y'all don't know what you're doing. You are trying to con a con man. It doesn't work like that. This is not going to work. This is not Barack Hussein Obama walking around with his limp and acting like he's a cool dude and acting like he knows everything. No, 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 no. This man is the real deal. And I'm so grateful. I woke up so proud to be an American, so proud that President Trump is my president, so proud that we can be safe and secure and nobody's gonna touch us because daddy's home. So God bless you guys. God bless our troops. I'm so thankful that God is just covering them. We haven't lost any troops. I'm so grateful that God is has given us the most powerful military on the face of this planet. I'm grateful that he gave us President Trump as our president. May God protect him. May God protect and bless every single American. God bless the United States of America. I love you. Thanks for watching with me, you guys. Go back and look at it. But that was so dope. So such a dope debrief. And I'm just looking forward to all the things that we're going to do. 2026 is going to be a great year. I'll see you guys tomorrow.